Many, many moons ago, there lived a young man named James. He was a calm, quiet man. He was a simple farmer who secretly had a dream to become a doctor, but who was too insecure to actually become one. One day, he met Victoria, who was the opposite of himself. Victoria was never afraid to speak her mind. She was very proud, but miraculously humble. As long as you stayed on her good side, it was heavenly. But if you got on her bad side, you would want to find a new town to be in. Victoria had a temper that no one could control except her. The good thing about her, though, was that she very rarely lost her temper. Her patience was indeed a virtue. When James and Victoria fell in love, everything seemed perfect. James was sweet to her, and in return, Victoria was sweet to him. Everything was in perfect harmony. On the night of their wedding, an evil friend took James to a dark place where he met Sylvia. Sylvia was a very forceful woman. She was mean and ugly, and she was conceited. When she saw James, she knew she could take advantage of him, and so she did. The next day, James felt ashamed of what had happened because he loved Victoria. So, he sucked it up and kept his mouth shut. Almost 3 years after they got married, Victoria and James had twin girls named Alice and Grace. Everything seemed well until poor James got a phone call from Sylvia. She told James that they had a son together and that she expected him to give her money for their child. James was completely lost. He knew he was obligated to help with his son, but did not know what to tell Victoria. To make matters worse, Sylvia called him once more, telling him that if he told anyone they had a child together, or even tried to come in contact with his son, she would harm his twins. Well, James had a hard decision. But eventually, he picked the family he made with his wife and stayed away from Sylvia and their son Grayson. He gave money to her every month to save his family from Sylvia's evil wrath. After many years, Grayson was now an adult and had contacted James. Grayson needed to tell his absent father that he hated him. James, saddened by Grayson's hate, now knew that Sylvia was never going to harm his family, that she had absolutely no power. She had tricked him into thinking that he could only have some of his children. Finally knowing this, he told Victoria everything. She was completely devastated and angry, but not because she was betrayed, but because she felt that she could have helped James see his son. Later, she found out that Grayson was abused as a child and was even more ashamed of her husband's insecurity. She understood that James was afraid of Sylvia and that he felt compelled to keep it all a secret, but he had not only caused himself pain, he hurt his son by neglecting him also. James must now live with himself and all of his guilt.